Confused about what career to choose? Not quite sure of the range of study and work options compatible with your personality, aptitude and interests? Welcome to Career Cafe for a ringside view of an exciting career each week. Together, we shall explore the pros and cons, the ins and outs, the programs and prospects, all the stuff you need to make an informed and successful career choice. Hi, I'm your host and career guide Parveen Malhotra, and on the menu today we are discussing careers in water resource management and technology. And pray, why are careers in water resources so promising? For the simple And really, pray, why are careers in water resources so promising? For the simple reason that water is an economic, social and environmental good. And in the last 2 decades, there's been a marked shift in the way we look at our water resources. From a mere local, transboundary, regional problem in the mid-20th century, water problems have now attained critical global dimensions. And to tell us all about the opportunities in this field, in terms of careers, we have with us today Professor Arun Kansal, HoD of Regional Water Studies at TERI University and visiting professor in natural science at the University of Derby, UK. A PhD in environmental engineering from IIT Delhi, Dr. Kansal has over 20 years of experience in research, consultancy, teaching in the areas of water resource management and waste management. With a string of distinguished awards to his credit, and I can't tell you how long that string is, because if I were to read out all of these, I think this program wouldn't be enough. Including the Best Teacher Award, Dr. Kansal has been a visiting professor to Freie University Berlin, Germany, the University of Birmingham, UK, and the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. So if you have any questions on careers in this fantastic field, do call us quickly on our toll-free numbers. Welcome to Career Cafe, Dr. Kansal. So tell me, why careers? Why are we talking about careers in water management today? We weren't talking about these, say, 10 years or 15 years ago.
Okay, so first of all, Parveen, thank you for giving me an opportunity to interact with the youths of this country. And I think that today we need water professionals more than ever before. And there are simple reasons. If you look at the main problems of this century, one talks about food security, one talks of energy security, one talks of climate change, poverty, illiteracy, peace and terrorism, and so on and so forth. And at the core of most of these problems, if you look at, water is central to most of those problems.
Very true.
In fact, if you look at water and health, more than 5 million people die every year because of the waterborne diseases. And almost, or in fact not almost, more than 50% of the hospital beds are filled with patients suffering from one or the other waterborne diseases. And if you add to the numbers of people die because of the natural disasters, it is another 1 million.
Oh, floods and...
Yes, and 90% of these natural disasters are water-related. So, in fact, I remember one of the former director of World Health Organization has said that if you have to look at the health of the communities, measure it in terms of number of taps per 1,000 people, than merely number of hospital beds.
Wow,
so water and health is closely linked. And if you look at climate change, so water influences climate of any region, and climate change itself is manifested first through water route. So what we talk of global warming, so how the global warming is going to impact? Sea level rise, glacier melting, extreme weather events, and extreme weather events include cyclones, tornadoes, floods, droughts and everything. So climate change and water are linked. Water and energy is linked. So we need water to generate energy, whether it is hydroelectric or thermal power plants.
Absolutely.
Or biofuels in terms of jet plantation and all. So water is needed for energy, and energy is needed for water. for equitable supply. It's a symbiotic
yes.
relationship. So if you look at water and poverty, yes, water, lot of people spend enough amount of their time to fetch water
Absolutely.
and fuel. And that time could have been used for their own education as well as economic activities. And in fact, number of illiterates in terms of girls are the one who actually get involved in the water fetching activities. So poverty and water are linked. And water is now becoming a geopolitical weapon for peace. So if you look at most of the neighboring countries, we are negotiating mostly in terms of
water treaties. Yes, right.
So the thing is that now most of the challenges are interlinked, and water is a common element amongst those. So we are looking into the ways by which we are actually elaborating the term hydrological cycle or water cycle. And the way we have studied hydrological cycle at a school level, now we are talking of water cycle within the land use, the repeated cycle, reuse. So valuation of water is something which you had rightly said, it is an economic good, it is also a social good. So the problems are coming. And in fact, it has been forecasted that in another 15 years, that is by 2030, the demand for water will increase almost by 40% than what is water available. So scarcity gives rise to conflicts, and conflicts give rise to various other problems.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
my God.
Water.
So, I mean, just now we are talking of air pollution and airborne diseases and things, but my God, water is still, I mean, they're both as and equally important.
Certainly.
So tell me, now if somebody is looking at careers in this field, okay, then what are the broad areas that they could be looking? One is the technology field, the science field, maybe the economics and the management field. So just tell our viewers a little about this.
See, the moment we say water resource management, so resource itself brings in a character of commodity. So water is a commodity as a resource. Management means business angle. So there is an inherent commoditization of water, there is an inherent business angle to the water. And what I see is that there is a conventional streams where the water professionals are required. Like for example, if you look at most of the flagship programs of Government of India today, whether it is Swachh Bharat Mission or Namami Gange or interlinking of rivers. So there are flagship programs. It is going to employ huge amount of workforce. If you look at the recent negotiations and recent kind of a treaties which India is doing, say for example with Japan, whether it is related to Varanasi or regeneration of rivers, so there is going to be huge amount of funding both from the public sector as well as corporate sector in terms of CSR funding, which is going to come in a big way. So there is a kind of a conventional streams wherein the students will be engaged in the developmental sector, developmental organizations, NGOs, consultancy organizations and the government. But what I'm seeing today is that today India do not need job seekers but job creators. We are already talking of decentralized management. We are talking of from big to small projects. So we need trained manpower who can work in various nooks and corners of the country with respect to local adaptation of technologies and other things. So we require a lot number of entrepreneurs to come into this sector to bring a real transformation which is so much required in this sector. And this is where I see that perhaps the youth of the country today can look into this sector from the point of your business angle, which is very much feasible today.
But the business is essentially technology linked?
It is both. Now, to give you an example, technology-wise, like for example, 30% of the urban poor do not have access to water and sanitation. And when we talk of decentralized level of toilets, we also require decentralized level of technologies. So why not why not some enterprising students come with a mobile kind of a package treatment plants where they go to the site, take out the sludge, entire thing, treat it and recycle and recover the resources out of it. So that is a technology driven kind of a thing. And similarly, there can be lot of, say for example, hydroelectric projects which are installed requires lot of rehabilitation and kind of a situation wherein the water is become a kind of a cause of detention. So we require entrepreneurs working in the rural areas as well as in these kind of a conflict situations.
So social, what we call social entrepreneurship.
Yes, social entrepreneurship is very much feasible here. So this is where I see that this sector should be looked not only from the point of view of conventional job, but also job.
But there are, I mean, today if we were to look at job sites, the traditional job sites, would there be definite job roles for people like this?
There is certainly. Now, if you look at corporates, now most of the young people would like to join good corporate as an executive. Now today corporates themselves considering water or environment as a business threat. If you look at companies, water is an important ingredient for most of the industrial production. And if water is not available, their entire business sustainability is at risk. So, like for example, thermal power plants in Delhi has to be shut down during summer months because there is no water in river Yamuna. Similarly, increased level of judiciary, public interest litigation also creates a kind of a business risk. So today, most of the corporates are also looking into reducing their water footprints and reducing water footprints of not only of their production but also of products. So, and the CSR kind of a funding, which is also again going to be channelized largely in the environmental sector with water as one of the central theme, they require water professionals. So water professionals certainly have a big inroads into the corporate and also government and big development organizations. So there is no dearth of, in fact, we need water professionals today much more than ever before, and also with renewed outlook.
Yes, looking at it with in an integrated outlook, not just in narrow silos.
That's true.
So tell me now, so many aspects to water. What sort of, what kind of, when we talk to students, they would like to know that what sort of area should they be coming from? Should they be science people? What areas of science, physical sciences, biological sciences or technology, which branches of engineering? Now, I was looking through, say, TERI's requirement. You take in students truly from all branches of sciences and technology. So tell us a little about that.
Okay. Conventionally, water professional in India is actually being produced by IITs, NITs or engineering institutes, where civil engineers take it as a kind of an advancement in terms of water resources engineers or water pollution engineers or something and so forth. But today we need people from all disciplines. For example, a student with mathematics background, so if water is a commodity, it has to be durable. It has to be durable, so we have to make it optimization. So there is a lot of requirement for mathematicians to look into the various type of system approach for optimization, for the kind of a simulations, for pollution modeling and all things. Similarly, we need physicists, we need chemists.
I'll tell you what.
So science
I'll tell you what. We'll take a short break here, and then at one go you tell us all this all over again. So we'll just take a very short break, but when we return, we'll continue this very interesting discussion with Dr. Kansal. So stay right there. Welcome back to Career Cafe. We're looking at careers in water resource management, and with us is Professor Arun Kansal from TERI University. So, Dr. साहब आप बता रहे थे कि mathematics के people का भी इसमें requirement है. So what exactly would they be doing?
So in fact, it is said that what gets measured can be cured.
What gets?
Measured.
Acha, what gets measured can be cured. Okay.
So the thing is that when we talk of when it comes to the problem solutions analysis, so one has to measure it. One has to, after measuring, getting the numbers, one has to mathematically model it to forecast, to simulate, to create various scenarios, and that requires a lot of mathematical inputs. So students from physics and mathematics, if they want to see in their career some visible positive changes in the society out of this thing, I think that this is a very good branch in which they can really experiment with all the novelties in the physics and mathematics to experiment with.
So physics के people क्या करेंगे इसमें?
See, the entire nature is a physical model. Okay, so there is a kind of a, say for example, water flowing. When water flows, it has its own physical properties.
Right.
To understand that flow of water requires a lot of understanding from the physics. So physics, chemistry, mathematics, so conventional science students are certainly required. But as I said that water is economic good, so we need economists.
Absolutely.
So we would prefer the students from economics background, we prefer students from geography background, we prefer students from social science background, we prefer students from agriculture sector, we prefer students from medical sciences, all coming in a class. And look at the kind of a vibrancy that you get in the class in terms of discussions, the enriched discussions, and one can get to know that what is the perspective coming from the different disciplines towards a particular problem. So this is a kind of a thing which is there, and I see that almost most of the disciplines have a role to enter in this. That is why in TERI University we have been always very liberal in terms of qualification requirements for intake for most of our programs.
But say now, apart from TERI, which other institutions could students look at?
I'm aware that Tata Institute of Social Sciences, they also offer, they offer program. As I understand that they have some component of science and most of the components from social science and economics. But as I said that in India, most of the water professionals are coming out from engineering institutes who has a one-dimensional linear approach.
So उनका वन डायमेंशनल अप्रोच भी ऐसे प्रोग्राम में आके चेंज मल्टी डायमेंशनल हो सकता है ना?
So yes, certainly.
So that is a good branching out. We have a caller, Shivam from MP. Welcome to Career Cafe, Shivam. Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. I've done a BSc in chemistry, botany, and zoology.
Okay.
And I want to do any courses available in water resource management in MP. What kind of courses are available, and the fee structure of that? What is the fee structure of that courses?
See, don't worry about the fee structure. You know, most of these courses are offered by government or autonomous institutions. The fee is not terribly high. Scholarships are available for postgraduate studies. So I think that bit should be the least of your worries. But as far as educational institutions is concerned, हम अभी वही डिस्कस कर रहे थे. एक तो ये प्रोफेसर साहब टेरी यूनिवर्सिटी से है. टेरी यूनिवर्सिटी दिल्ली बेस्ड यूनिवर्सिटी है जो एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज के हर एस्पेक्ट टेक्नोलॉजी और इकोनॉमिक्स और मैनेजमेंट को एड्रेस करती है इन अ इंटीग्रेटेड मल्टी डायमेंशनल वे. तो ये तो एक है ही ऑप्शन. इसके अलावा डॉक्टर साहब कहाँ?
So of course
आप बता रहे थे टिस टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सोशल साइंसेज है.
And in fact there are number of MSc programs in environmental studies.
So those are offered in almost all universities.
But if you look at in water per se, I think that TERI University and TIS are perhaps the two options he can look into. For like TERI University offers MSc in water science and governance, and you will find that there are number of courses which are common for MTech as well as MSc students, and that is where one gets be able to broaden his horizon and thinking to have a kind of enriched discussions. So that is something which I can recommend for him.
और TERI में admissions किस basis पे होता है? You have your own entrance exam.
We have our own entrance exam wherein we actually test the aptitude. So there is no general knowledge or kind of subject specific questions. It's more to do with the aptitude test, and we have an interview. The purpose of interview is of course to see the passion in that student.
That's true. That's true. You're not just looking at that as a career avenue, but just as a passion. I hope you've got your answer. I think it's a fantastic field to be looking at and a critically vital field. We have another caller, Sheikh Haider from Delhi. Welcome to Career Cafe.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I'm a student of class 12 and I'm currently preparing for my 12th. I'm actually confused to what to take for a graduation subject after 12th. So as I'm watching your program, I saw it's very interesting, water resource and management. I have basically two favorite subjects at present, history and geography.
Okay.
So as our professor said, there is something linked with geography to the water management, water resource management. So what would be best for me to take in as a graduation subject for class 12?
Are you a science student?
I'm a humanities student.
Achha, you're a humanities student. So he has geography, he has history.
Yeah.
Now, if he wants to get into this very interesting field, what should he be doing?
So I think that he should pursue his geography.
Geography would be a very good option.
Geography will be very good, and with geography he can expand himself in terms of urban planning,
yes,
human settlement
absolutely.
planning, and there is a lot of role to play for the geographers. And now with remote sensing and
yes,
GIS which is picking up, I think the geographers is going to have a very good time in the coming years. So with geography, with a graduation as a stronghold, and then develop expertise in one of the tools like remote sensing and GIS or urban planning or water. So take one as a particular stream for your post-graduation level. So that will be a wonderful combination for him.
Thank you. I hope you've got your answer. So just go for geography and then let the road open up for you. We have yet another caller, Dr. Saab. I think you've got everybody interested in this field. Shravan Kumar from Karnataka. Welcome to Career Cafe.
Sir, madam, very good evening and good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have, madam and sir, I have done my MTech in water resource engineering from NIT Nagpur.
Fantastic. Okay.
So, I wanted to continue and do a research in climate change and its impact on water resource management.
Okay.
So, what do you suggest? Which institute would be better?
Okay.
So, for the purpose of research, there are many institutes where he can join. Like, for example, TERI, since he has done from Nagpur. So you can discuss with one of the directors of TERI who is actually dealing with climate change. TERI also do a lot of work with respect to climate modeling and also specifically with respect to water sector, because there are various regions who are going to be flooded and various regions who are going to have a prolonged droughts. So a lot of climate models are being used in TERI, and we have a supercomputer also. So so there are two options for you. Either you can join as a researcher in a form of as a job, or you can pursue PhD or with respect to climate and water related studies and have little bit more experience and knowledge for next 3 to 4 years.
But he can also do both parallelly? Do a part-time PhD while working?
That depends upon the institute he is joining, yes. So whether they will allow for first 2 3 years or so. But my personal suggestion is that first go for a job.
First go.
Gain some experience, be little more mature and have an understanding of the situation. And then if you pursue PhD, you will be in a better footing to reflect on the real issues.
What about the IITs? Would that be a good place to do his PhD subsequently?
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that once he get 2 3 years of experience, he himself will be in a position to take the right decision that which institute he should pursue for his PhD.
Okay, good, very good. Hope you found your answer. Now tell me, have we left out any other areas? Are there, we were talking about people who can come in through science, people who can of course come in through engineering. So are you saying that even somebody who's done computer engineering or mechanical engineering or any other branch of electronics, for instance, can come into this field?
Yes, certainly. In fact, one of my PhD student is an electrical engineer. And she is actually doing her research on the behavioral aspects of how the community looks at the water quality. Because ultimately the thing is that you collect the data, you analyze the data, and if the entire human psychology field itself is all the data as a numbers. So like if you look at hydroelectric projects, so it's all mechanical and electrical engineering which is applied. So in fact we are very liberal in terms of having students from all the disciplines. In the first batch we have a student who has worked for 5 years in IT sector. He's a computer engineer, and then he's now pursuing MTech in water science and governance from the university.
So tell me something, I'm really curious. You teach in India and you teach in all these universities abroad. Are there concerns about water similar?
No.
No?
No. I think that developed countries and developing countries' perspective on water are very different. Just to give you some illustrations, in India and most of the developing countries like Africa, we actually struggle for availability of water.
Yes.
Quantity of water is our first concern. In developed nations in Europe, especially, they have a frontal climatic system. It is not the quantity which is discussed, it is the quality which is discussed. Okay, so that is a big shift, big change. Of course, we also have quality concerns.
Yes.
But if you look at the farmers level, at the grassroots level, it is the quantity which is actually issue. We have full-fledged ministries on water resources. I have not seen any ministry in these countries.
Really?
There are few departments, but not any.
So these departments would come under what?
Under various other ministries. So each country has their own. But so it itself reflects that how the water sector is being pursued. Most of the developing countries have national water plan, national water policy. In developed countries, I had seen it is an exception, maybe in one or few, but not any mega national plans for it. So there is a complete change in the perspective. And what is happening is that most of the manufacturing is actually happening in China, India, and shifting to developed nations. And through these finished products, exports, we are actually virtually transporting water to developed nations. So a meter of cloth has its own water footprint.
Right.
A lot of water goes.
Absolutely.
So though in real sense we are not transporting water, but we are exporting.
We are exporting water.
Water in that sense.
Oh my God. So this is really critical, and I think on that note we'll wrap up today's show here. Professor Kansal, thank you so much for coming to Career
Cafe.
It's really a pleasure. Absolutely. I think the pleasure is entirely ours and the viewers. आपने कितनी नई perspective दी इस critical area के लिए. Thank you so much for your insights. Next week on Career Cafe, we'll look at yet another super career. But before that, let me leave you with a thought. Your comfort zone keeps expanding every time you come out of your comfort zone. So get out of your comfort zone and reach out for your best.